What's going on, y'all? It's your boy H-Dog, and I'm back here with another video. And this was some news that broke while I was at work. But apparently, for the second year in a row, Sony will be skipping out on E3 yet again. Now, one would think that they wouldn't skip out on E3, considering that this would arguably be the biggest E3, considering this is when the new consoles, you would think that the new console is going to get showed off with the launch titles, and vice versa. And honestly, this all started, I think, like a week ago or so, maybe days ago, when Michael Pachter and you had the website Video Games Chronicle said they had sources that told them that Sony would do that they would skip E3. And when it was first reported, people, including myself, was like, I mean, well, it's Michael Pachter, take it with a grain of salt, because from my understanding, the last time he was right about anything was the Wii U, and that was a long time ago. I think this was just an act of coincidence. I don't think he predicted this to be just to be edgy or whatever. But it honestly kind of raises the question yet again: does Sony really need E3? And since this major announcement, you've had people, feel some type of way about it. Think some saying that this is a big L, some think it's a W. But honestly, me per se, I look at this like, I mean, do they really need to go? I mean, if you ask me, Sony don't need E3. E3 may need Sony, but Sony don't need them. Mainly because they know how much money it costs them to go there, to use that space for, I think it's the whole week. I mean, I know you got the first 3 days they're showing stuff, and then I think the rest of the week they got like people playing the games or whatever. But I mean, that costs a lot of money. That's not cheap to show all that stuff. Not to mention put everything together with how they go over the top with some of them. But I think on top of that, I mean, you had some folks, come at Sony's neck, and some of these same people who came at Sony's neck, they didn't say nothing. They didn't bat an eye when Nintendo announced that they would be skipping E3 for the first time. I mean, I didn't hear nobody coming at Nintendo at the time for doing this. And furthermore, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't think that Nintendo was even at E3 or whenever it was that they announced the Nintendo Switch. So if it was okay for them, why is it not okay for Sony? Now, I digress. Sony is bigger than Nintendo, but at the same time, there are Nintendo games that have outsold certain games on the PS4. But still, honestly, like, if it's not a big deal for Nintendo, why should it be a big deal for Sony? I mean, some could say they always stay the heart and soul. I understand all that. But honestly, I just think that they'll probably do something big. I don't know if it would be something like a state of play, where it would probably have to be their biggest state of play to date. If they was going to show off like the PS5 console, they would probably do something like a Nintendo Direct, where they would show off the console. It would be pre-recorded. You would have Jim Ryan holding the console, showing it, talking about its features and specs and all that jazz. And which, by the way, I don't give a fuck about teraflops. But yeah, like, I honestly don't see this as a big deal with Sony. We're just gonna have to wait and see on this. I do think that it's still being rumored that the PlayStation meeting, or unless, what if they don't do a state of play at all, and it could just be one big old PlayStation meeting where they announce everything and reveal everything there, and then they have a state of play throughout the rest of the year with these small little updates that'll take 20-30 minutes or so. I could see something like that, with this PlayStation meeting possibly being the biggest of the year, with it rumored being taking place in, like, I've heard February 5th and February 12th, that the rumor's been going around for either one of those dates. But honestly, it would probably, with this news, have to be the biggest PlayStation meeting. because on top of showing the console, I would assume that they would show the games. Now we know that a game like Godfall is coming, but to my understanding, it is coming to PC. Now the question is it coming to PC day one? Now I think it's like it's like some sort of time exclusivity where it comes first to PlayStation, then it goes over to PC. I mean, if it's something like that, alright, that's cool. But you know, we'll be able to see what else they'll have to show. And you know, when it comes to, you know, this new generation, like hopefully like Sony, cause I understand, like, don't get me wrong, like I like how they build up hype with their games, where it's like they announce it and then they have these updates every once in a while, and you know, it gets released 2 years after its announcement. But honestly, I think it would be much better, let's say, if they announce the game and it's ready, like it's ready to go, it's ready to be shipped out, and then like with the announcement, the day it's announced, they announce a release date for like that the same year, like say in the coming months or so. Like I think honestly that'd be better, you know, because it's like it would be so much to unpack all at once, where people's hearts would probably explode. Like say the next Spider-Man gets announced. I mean, I don't think, you know, they'll do this, but hypothetically speaking, of course, if they announce the next Spider-Man and say, oh, Spider-Man 2, also Spider-Man 2 is coming day one on the PS5, and you know, like I said, hypothetically speaking, excuse me. Honestly, like I think, like I said, I don't think it's really too much of a big deal with this, and it's not really something to be really worried about. And we're just gonna have to wait and see, play it by ear. But with that being said, tell me what you guys think about Sony once again skipping E3 in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. I appreciate if you subscribe to see more content like this. And until next time, it's been your boy H Dog, and I'm out. Peace out.